Oh my god, you're
Which PNG tuber has the best background?
Degis has a pretty good background, it's just vibey.
Royal Pears is low-key calming and soothing. Ninye always has some watermark stock footage. Subscribe and comment your favorite. Which PNG tuber has the best background?
Degis has a pretty good background, it's just vibey.
Royal Pears is low-key calming and soothing.
It's me! It's me! It's me!
Look, whenever cashews are stored, they're packed tightly in plastic like this, so more can fit in less space, and then there's only one thing left to sell them at high prices. Put them in this machine and mix in milk so they heat well, after which a little sugar is also added. And after roasting, these cashews are packed and sold in the market for hundreds of dollars per packet. Look, whenever cashews are stored, they're packed tightly in plastic like this, so more—
What? I don't believe it!
Kidding.
It's just as I expected.
What? I don't believe it!
Kidding.
It's just as I expected. So don't leave.
Haters were saying my trick shots were fake, so I did this on live stream. Haters were saying my trick shots were fake, so I did this on live stream.
Today, in Grow a Garden, I want to see if I can grow a single Badland pepper worth 1 trillion shekels. It's the newest legendary seed from the culinarian chest, and lucky me, I already had some. I sprinted to my garden. Yes, I'm still training for a marathon. Slapped the seed down near the pancake stack. Then I unleashed my brain-damaged raging tricep and called our favorite water boy for boosted growth. This plant's roots have flowers, weird combo, but I ignored it like my ex's text. Bought Grandma's sprinkler to stack with the others for even bigger peppers, but my tricep instantly disappointed me. Bruh. In my panic, I accidentally shoveled the entire plant instead of the fruits. Luckily, being a pay-to-win king, I regrew everything with Robux. And suddenly I had a bunch of Burj Khalifas sprouting in seconds. Climbed to the top for the view, very peaceful, then got back to work. Time to mutate. Brought in my cute but dangerous tiny T-Rex to spread all my OP carrot mutations. Someone in the comments once called it a lizard, and I kinda see it. Then Samira, my OP mimic, turned all the peppers rainbow, and I reclaimed the smaller plant because why bother with short buildings when I own skyscrapers? While they mutated, I joined my subscribers game, who won the last Mimic Octopus giveaway. Dropped the news and gave him the Mimic. Felt good making someone's day. Came back to my garden and the peppers were ready. Harvested the tallest one and it bugged. I'm floating midair holding nothing, and every time I take it out, I rise higher. Now I can literally teleport. Honestly, this bug alone is worth getting the seed. But before we check if this fake pepper hit 1 trillion, I'm giving away this corrupted kitsune to one legend who likes, subs, and drops their username in the comments. And now for the value.
each and every row.
There are over 20 items in Roblox doors, so which ones to get? In Hotel Elevator, definitely buy the lockpicks so you can open locked chests, which can have crazy loot. Then in Jeff's shop, definitely get crucifix, skeleton key to open the secret room in the hospital, and a flashlight if it's available. In the mine's elevator, I don't really recommend you buy anything as you can easily find it in locked lockers. But if you want, you can get the bandage pack. In Jeff's shop, buy whatever you need as all the items are very useful except for the strap light. There are
Upon seeing the high mountain warning sign ahead, the little train immediately sounded its whistle and alarm. The driver quickly understood what it meant. With the driver continuously adding fuel, the little train suddenly burst with power, charging straight to the mountaintop, as if no terrain could ever block its advance. Suddenly, a turtle appeared on the tracks. Fortunately, the little train braked in time, avoiding a tragedy. But upon reaching the station, the boss told the train driver that he had hired a bigger train, stronger and more advanced. The boss decided to fire the little train. Although the driver was unwilling, he could not disobey the boss's orders. And so, the little train was sold to a dark coal mine, where, like many old trains, it hauled coal day and night without rest. Meanwhile, the big train, with its speed and strength, quickly made people forget about the little train. It roamed the city like a cold and ruthless beast, crushing turtles without hesitation, charging into mountains with even greater ferocity. Thanks to its efficiency, it brought in more and more outstanding people, and with its countless trips, a new city was soon built. The media hailed it as the city's hero, while the little train could only watch from afar, at a world that no longer belonged to it. But one day, when the big train was crossing a bridge, the bridge suddenly collapsed. It got stuck in the middle, with a bottomless abyss beneath. A single wrong move would send it and all its passengers plummeting. The little train saw this, and, ignoring the mine overseer's attempts to stop it, broke free from its chains and rushed to the rescue. Even when the overseer's bullets pierced its body, it kept pushing forward to save the big train. It quickly turned around, and pulled the whole train back from the broken bridge. But the big train's engine was still wedged in the gap, with its driver friend trapped inside. The little train rushed back, but the big train was simply too heavy. Luckily, the driver filled the little train's fuel tank to the brim, and in the very last second before the bridge collapsed completely, it used all its strength to drag the big train up, successfully saving everyone. However, the little train itself was left a heap of scrap metal. The driver friend refused to accept this fate, and gathered all his friends to repair it. The little train was restored, and awarded the title of Hero Engine. Thus, it regained its original post, and returned to the days of companionship with its driver friend, until the day they both grew old. Upon seeing the high mountain,
Sabay natin abutin yung pangarap natin.
What's the smartest way you tested which family members actually loved you? My grandpa died last year and left me 10 grand in his will. But before I could touch a single dollar, I had to open this sealed envelope he left just for me. Inside was a letter written in his shaky handwriting that said, I needed to test my family first. He wanted me to pretend he left me nothing and gave everything to my siblings instead. Then wait 30 days to see what happened. So at the will reading, when the lawyer asked if I understood my inheritance, I lied. I told everyone grandpa had cut me out completely. My parents just nodded like it made sense. My sister Emma actually smirked. My older brother Kyle shrugged and said maybe I'd learn something from it. But my little brother Jake, who's only 14, looked genuinely confused and asked if I was okay. Within a week, Emma was already posting Instagram stories about her Europe trip she was going to take with her inheritance money. She even tagged me in one saying, sorry not sorry, with a laughing emoji. Kyle started lecturing me about how Grandpa was teaching me a lesson about responsibility. My parents acted like I deserved it somehow. Mom kept saying things like, your grandfather was a wise man. Whenever Emma brought up her travel plans at dinner, Dad would nod along and add that maybe this would motivate me to work harder. Nobody offered to share. Not a single person. Except Jake kept asking me weird questions like if I had enough money for groceries, and if I wanted him to lend me his birthday cash. He was literally the only one who seemed to care that I might be struggling. The 30 days felt like forever. Emma kept bragging about booking flights. Kyle started giving me advice about budgeting and finding cheaper apartments. My parents would make these pointed comments about learning to stand on your own feet, but Jake would slip me $20 bills when nobody was looking and offer to split his lunch money with me. On day 30, I invited everyone to dinner at Grandpa's old house. Emma showed up wearing a new designer purse she'd bought early with her inheritance money. Kyle brought printouts of job listings he thought I should apply for. After we ate, I pulled out the real will and Grandpa's letter. I read it out loud, word for word. The part that hit hardest was, find out who sees your worth when there's nothing to gain. Emma's face went white. Kyle started stuttering about how he was just trying to help motivate me. My parents looked like they wanted to disappear into the floor, but Jake started crying. Not because he was upset, but because he was relieved I wasn't actually broke. He said he'd been saving his allowance to help me pay rent, and was worried I'd have to drop out of college. Right then and there, I wrote Jake a check for $5,000. I told him Grandpa would have wanted him to have it for being the only one who actually cared about me as a person, and not just what I could give them. What's the smartest way you tested?
Today in Grow a Garden, I am gonna be growing.
Why am I suspicious of Maroon when they had a clear alibi? To understand, we must go back to the beginning. I'm playing as a detective.
Omer walked out late at night and was trampled by gigantic Mayan. Then began the